So, guys, I know it's been a minute. It's been a minute, okay? I think the last set of news I've talked on this channel was when we had Jump Festa. And I wouldn't really necessarily say that was news. It was more so to see like about Ron Kaminohashi, one of the latest works of Akira Amano, who is best known for her series Tiger Kill Hitman Reborn and L-Live, right? But if we really want to go back, the last anime news, video games, or more news we had on this channel was somewhere around in October, and that's to my fault, no fault of anybody else's but mine. But I do want to say, like, in terms of how it's going to go forward from now on, I'm not going to do like how I did before, where it's going to be like a set day, like Wednesday will cover Monday to Wednesday or Sunday to Wednesday. If I find anything interesting that's happening in the week, I'm going to do a video on it. So it's going to be inconsistent with the days, but if there's any news topics that I find interesting, of course I'm going to make the video and then upload it onto the channel as frequently as possible. On top of that, I'm going to try to get back to doing my manga, webtoon, and manga recommendation videos again. This time around, it's probably going to be like 1 to 2 videos per month. I do have a long list of series that I want to share with you guys, that I want to recommend to you for you guys to go try and check out, okay, to your liking. So this week was quite interesting. I think the biggest of them all, other than the news that dropped today, and if you haven't heard, you probably have heard, and there is like, you know, talk around the internet and everything, especially with Twitter, and you probably saw on TikTok or anywhere else, with Blu-ray and DVD disc sales. Now that is between Chainsaw Man and Bocchi the Rock. Now when we saw the numbers, it was astonishing, to say the least, because everybody expected, everybody, even myself included, given how big Chainsaw Man is, okay, prior to its anime, for Blu-ray and DVD sales to look pretty good. Come to find out that Bocchi the Rock, which it may have been talked about, but probably talked about more within its own community, sold more than Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man only managed, unless the numbers have risen since it first came out, that news, it was only 1,735 copies versus Bocchi the Rock, which was 16,000. And now people who clearly never even liked the series to begin with chose to take this moment to make fun of the director, to make fun of Chainsaw Man fans and what have you. And that was very immature of everybody, in my own opinion. It's understandable if you don't like the series for whatever reason, but don't go out of your way to be antagonistic about it, okay? But this is also something not new in the way, because clearly fans in Japan didn't like the direction the director took with Chainsaw Man in terms of adapting it into anime form. Of course, we know that prior to the anime, he did say how he views Chainsaw Man and how he wants to adapt it is more cinematic versus the anime feel. And when we talk about anime feel, like exaggerated emotions, exaggerated actions and everything, and people will probably, or at least I think personally, people were thinking it's going to be at that same scale as Jujutsu, which came out 2 years prior. But that wasn't the case. I'll admit, I watched Chainsaw. You guys clearly saw me do Chainsaw Man. I never watched Bocchi the Rock. Will I watch it? It depends on the near future. Will you guys know? If I ever bring it up and talk about the characters, then you will know by then. But I can understand reasons as to why people may not like it, but also I can understand reasons as to why people do like it. But again, and people that may think Blu-ray and DVD sales are not a big thing, even if it is slowly fading out, it is still a good indicator to see how well a series has done after its anime release and people buying it. Yes, it's used as a way for collector's edition and everything. Yes, there are things like figurines, wall scrolls, posters, other miscellaneous items that can help build on how much they're selling for a series or anything once they adapt it and decide to take on this project. But it's not to scuff at Blu-ray and DVDs when still they are still a look at how well does a series does in terms of like selling these certain items to the public. And to see this very low number for a series that was highly anticipated prior to its anime release, okay, I don't think any of us was prepared for that, okay. And for a series that wasn't talked nearly as much, outsold it. It's not to say it wasn't talked about at all, but it wasn't talked nowhere near to the levels of Chainsaw Man. Like, for those who never read the manga like myself or many others who know nothing about Chainsaw Man prior to the anime, was hearing it every single space you can think of. And then to see this result. And with Mappa, there's no committee behind Chainsaw Man, so everything was just solely on Mappa. So I don't know what's going to go on in the future going forth on how this may affect Chainsaw Man. Is it going to affect that it's not going to get a second season? I highly doubt it, but they may want to revamp their plans on how they go about concerning with this series in terms of the anime and how it's being adapted, how they'll approach it from a different view, how they can take everyone's concerns and then use that to better it in the future going forward. Okay, but again, it doesn't take away from the success of Chainsaw Man. Part 2 is out right now. In manga, Bocchi the Rock, successful. Okay, it came out of the woodwork like a dark horse, but now it's coming like a shining diamond in the rough. Okay, so it's really not gonna hurt both of these series at all. But again, it is very shocking. Okay. Now on to the next news. Let's get into what came out earlier today. For those who don't know or those who do know, Demon Slayer Season 3 is coming out in April with a 1-hour special premiere, aka anywhere between 40 to 45 minutes on air broadcasting, okay? And they did say who's going to sing the opening. So it's going to be Man with a Mission and Millet, who's going to be on the song as well. They did show like who's voicing demons, from Doma to I only know Doma, but yeah, they show several characters, particularly the demons, the upper class or upper moon demons, and who their voice actors is. Obviously there was one particular demon from the movie, from the Mugen Train, who's making his reappearance in this new season, the 3rd season. So do keep that in check. 1-hour special, or aka 40 to 45 minutes worth of the 3rd season premiere of Demon Slayer with Swordsmith Village. Yes, Swordsmith Village arc. Okay, so that's coming out in April. On top of that, like probably a month from now, we do have Attack on Titan final season part 3 or part 4. Okay, I do believe they might have if I remember correctly off the top of my head, there is also a 1-hour premiere for it. You correct me if on that. I did remember seeing something about early in the week, but I can't remember exactly. And then after that, they're gonna show, hopefully, and I mean literally hopefully, once they finish this part, the part that comes after of this final season is the final part. I don't know how much more Mappa is going to try to extend it, but hopefully the part that comes after later this year for Attack on Titan, the final season. I'm sorry if you're hearing sound, it's the heater and everything. It is cold here. It is the final part of the final season. Okay, so we do have Demon Slayer Swordsmith Village arc. It's going to be this April. They didn't tell us exactly the date, but they will be updating soon enough, probably later this month into next month, on what day exactly the 1-hour special is going to start, on which day of April. Okay, and of course Attack on Titan final season is March 3rd, so keep your calendars up to date. Okay, now in terms of with another series, My Hero Academia. If you guys heard, My Hero Academia has about 84 to 85 million copies in circulation. Okay, and if you look at it from 2010's shonen manga that came out, it's probably within the top 5 right now currently, and if it's in its final arc. If I'm wrong, do tell me. But 85 million already? They're almost close. They're so close to 100 million volumes circulating, okay? And this is probably not even counting digital copies, okay? On top of, I mean, that's really amazing news. And on top of like season 6 is showing every Saturday, okay? There is some bad news to the side of it. So it's been noted that Koei Horikoshi is taking a 2-week break, or probably by now it's going to be like a week and a half break due to health reasons. So he is going to be back for the following Shueisha Shonen Jump issue back on February the 20th. He's going to be back by Shueisha's 10th issue. So for those who want to read the latest chapter of My Hero Academia, you guys are just gonna have to wait till February 20th till he's back. And he, you know, honestly, he needs the much needed rest. For a guy that said he feel like his series was going to be axed. He felt like his series wasn't doing well. The numbers don't lie. And people are enjoying the newest anime season right now and what's ever happening in the manga. So yeah, your series is not going to get canceled, Horikoshi, not at all. 85 million is nothing to scuff at. For a 2010 series that's about to close and you're this close to being 100 million, I think possibly when the series does end, he's probably on the tip of reaching 100 million circulations in total. And this is not counting no backlogs or probably digital copies or anything of that sort. Solely 85 million, okay? So congratulations to Horikoshi, and you deserve this break for your health. Your health comes first, okay? And to really just end off everything, this is also, I wouldn't really say sad news unless you grew up with this, watching it on TV and everything. But come to find out with E3 that's going to be happening this year, we do have where Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft are not going to be premiering at E3 this year. So we all know that E3 is a video gaming conference that happens every year between June and July. And they basically have all these big companies, Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft, and indie game companies, and a whole lot of people broadcasting, showcasing new games, new updates, new systems, all of that stuff. And ever since during COVID and pre-COVID, we've seen more where these companies started to just branch out and do their own conferences online. And since last year and the year before, because I believe when it came to 2020, they had to push everything online. And it was problematic. And I believe in 2021, they just, started to do their own thing. So anybody that was in hopes of seeing these companies at E3 this year, they're not going to be there, okay? And in a way, you're starting to slowly see E3 fade out, okay? Once these big companies are starting to do their own conferences, which they don't have to wait for one big giant conference to focus on them for like 30 minutes and then move on to the next company, okay, to talk about what they have out for either 30 minutes or less, okay? And instead they can do it for themselves either once or twice a year. It's understandable, okay? So seeing that these big companies are not coming, they didn't go last year if I remember, and they didn't go this year, slowly but surely E3 is going to fade out, and then everybody's just going to make their own conferences at this point, okay? So anybody that's expecting to see them during July or end of June on E3, they're not going to be there. And thinking about it, it kind of makes sense because everything is more accessible than it was 10 years prior. You can watch it on any platform. You can watch it live on Twitter, You can watch their own Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, and any of these other companies doing their own conferences on Twitter, live on YouTube, live on their own website, possibly even on TikTok, versus having to wait, again, like I said, for one big conference to gather everybody together for what, 3-4 days, when I can do it once or twice a year at my own discretion. You know, it makes sense. It does make sense. So E3 is going to, as always, be at Los Angeles convention, and we don't know exactly the days. It's starting, okay, it's saying it's starting E3 for everybody is going to be from June 13th to the 16th this year. So anybody that wants to watch E3 and see what's happening, go ahead and watch it. I'm going to check it out to see what they have on there, but of course I'm going to still check out for the other companies and see what they put out for their own conferences, if they're going to put it out around this same date but just not at the convention, or they're going to wait till their days to have their state of play or other stuff. So guys, do tell me in the comment section below on how you felt about some of the news updates that came out this week, if in regards to Chainsaw Man and Bocchi the Rock Blu-ray and DVD sales, to My Hero Academia, its manga sales, and of course Horikoshi taking a break due to health reasons, to Demon Slayer finally coming back with a season 3, okay, and it's 1 hour special, as well as hearing about like Attack on Titan final season part 3, 4. What shows, actually I also want to know what shows are you guys going to be watching during the spring season. I would love to hear that in the comment section below. The links are in the description box, so you guys go check that out. And I'm Kimmy Chan with Dynamic Legends, and I will see you guys later. Bye! With